So, so today is what is today? The 22nd. This Wednesday. I think Monday was the 20th. I'm not sure what today is, but it's Wednesday. So Wednesday in January, and I am just getting back from rehearsal. This is week 2 of post grad, and I've really been having a swell time so far. I'm not gonna lie. Today in particularly was a breakthrough day. Just a disclaimer before I hop into anything. I had an extreme fear of driving for like ever since I got my permit. I've just had like a really intense fear of driving. Like anytime I would drive, like my hands would shake really bad, and anytime I would go to the DMV, like I would just kind of just have really high anxiety and kind of just panic and fuck up majority of the time. But today I actually went to the DMV and I got my driver's license, and I'm very, very, very happy and excited about that because it's literally been a long time coming. And now that I have a driver's license, I can get a car and I can do so many more things for myself and for my business and for people I love. So that makes me very, very, very happy. But today I'm coming and I'm recording myself because I have a lot on my heart right now, as far as my career is concerned. Um, you know, Throughout my dance career, just as I've been, going along, I've always experienced people trying to what's the best way I could say this? Trying to bring me down, trying to choke me out, trying to really put their foot on my neck. And it's happened. I've had that happen to me I've had several experiences with that happening. And it's been times where I've wanted to quit. It's been times where I would um, just feel like my presence and my energy wasn't wanted. It was. Oh, you're wondering what that crackling sound is? It's this candle. It's one of my favorite candles. It's a crackling wick candle. Who's this by? By Woodwick. And these are so soothing. These are literally my like new favorite things. This crackling candles is so soothing, especially when I go to sleep. So I just burn that usually when I'm having like messages come through. But no, uh, it's been plenty of times in my dance career where I felt like people were deliberately trying to discourage me and trying to take away my light, or trying to underplay my abilities, or trying to praise others to try to take away my light and take away my shine. It's happened several times, but I'm finding myself, the more I dive deeper and understand myself and understand what my purpose is and what I want to do, what makes me happy, you know, you can feel when people are envious of you. You can feel when people have malice or aggression towards you for whatever reason. I remember, in high school, like when I graduated, you know what I'm saying? I had, it's such a little flirtatious little wig. I love it so much. But I've been talking for 4 minutes already. But when I was in high school, I've had experiences where I was kind of not welcome, and I was kind of shooed away, and my presence was it was kind of made known that my presence wasn't wanted in that environment, and that really, really hurt me. And it took me a long time to heal from that, because that was an environment, that was a space where for once in my life I felt like I belonged. I felt like I was cherished and appreciated and valued. And to have people, kind of push you away, or every time you come around, like everybody kind of acts really awkward, it's very hurtful. It's very hurtful. And, after high school, healing through that, I go to college and I found this amazing program by chance, because there's no such thing as luck. universe has a weird way of placing us exactly where we need to be when we need to be there, right? And when the time I came into the company, I was going through a lot of changes. As an individual, I was going through a lot of changes. As a dancer, going through a lot of changes as a person. And my first year getting into the company in college, I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best student. I wasn't an angel. I wasn't the easiest person to deal with all the time. And I completely, acknowledge that about myself. But, after I took a year off from the company and, kind of realized that, you love to dance. That's the only thing you like to do is dance. That's where your heart is. That's what you love to do. That's what you're always going to love to do. Stop running from it. Go do what you love. So after I took a year off, I enrolled in a dance class. Really liked that dance class. And after I enrolled that dance class, I went back to the company and had a great year being back. Oh, fuck. Had a great year being back in the company. And I even got a scholarship that year. And then the next year, I also performed, had a great season with the company. But this year was different. The more I, went along my journey, the more I really started finding out who I was and knowing who I was and knowing what I deserve, knowing what I'm capable of, knowing that I have the choice of what I am and am not going to deal with. I'm going to make another video about my experience with my senior project. And it's not to out anybody or it's not to make anybody look bad. One thing we have to understand is that no matter how covered by the blood we may claim to be or how holy or pure we claim to be, when you're not operating or you're not moving or manifesting things through your heart center, you can become a vessel that can be used by any type of spirit, good or bad. We don't have control when we don't move, when we don't operate from our heart space, when we don't do things with pure intention. That makes us vulnerable to spiritual attacks and possession. And even though people think like, when I say possession, you think of like the exorcist, but no, like we get possessed by different spirits and different entities every day, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. And if you're not operating through a space of love, through a space of genuineness and positivity, you make yourself available, or you make yourself vulnerable to be used as a vessel for dark and evil entities. That's just what it is, Dark and evil entities like envious people, dark and evil entities like bitter people, like stressed out people. They like overworked people because they're vulnerable. You don't have any control over your mind. You don't have any control over your heart space when you overinvest and when you stretch yourself too wide, or when you're trying to give people a hard time. Even if you think you're doing the right thing, even if you think you're covered by the blood of Jesus, the devil can still use you. If you want to put a name on it, the devil can still use you. Evil forces can still use you for their mission to attack people. And that's exactly what happened to me. But I'm not going to get into that because that's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is that, every single time people have tried to deliberately attack me, deliberately do things and make decisions that they know will hurt me, not only hurt my feelings, but take away from the light that I'm admitting, or hinder my abilities, or make me look like I'm not contributing as much as I could, it really hurts. It really hurts when you have nothing but pure intentions for people and have ideas that could help the collective, and people literally just spit in your face. It's so hurtful. And even, and then the crazy thing about it is, like, if you confront people, people always say, oh, you can talk to me about it. If I said something that offended you, you can talk to me about it, whatever you can talk to me about. But that's never the case. That's never the case. It's never the case, like, ever. Because then when you call somebody out on their evil ways, or you call somebody out on some foolery they didn't did, they like to play mind games, and they like to gaslight you. At least in my experience, that's what it's been. People like to gaslight you. Oh no, that's not it. Try to give excuses, try to pull some bullshit excuse out their ass to justify their mean and catty behavior, and I'm just not going for it. Like, I'm clairvoyant as hell. Like, you can't do the fake shit with me, baby. Like, you can't try to say that it's this when we all know that it's really that. Like, it at this point, tapping into my abilities and really like trusting my mind and really working and exercising my mind. Like, I'm not going for that. Like, I'm not going for that. It's like, I already know, so just be honest. Like, because it's just like, we know why you're doing this, but it makes you look even worse when you lie about why you're doing what you're doing. It's just not a good look. Like, it's just not a good look. And with my current experience, it seems like anytime certain people have a chance to take me out of things. I've been taken out of dances as punishment before, so I know that's what's happening again now. And then anytime they have a chance to praise somebody, or take, just to lift somebody else up, or try to applaud somebody else for overexerting myself, I've the old me would have gotten really upset. I'm not gonna lie, the old me would have gotten really upset. The old me you would have saw all over my face. But I'm realizing that, when change is on the horizon and when change is right in your face, it's always going to be opposition. When you challenge the status quo, when you question what has been done for decades upon end, and when you propose a new, fresh approach to things, people who are traditionalists, or people who are used to always having their way, or who are just used to always having to say so, are not going to fuck with you. They're not. And, Lord knows it, with me and being in the transition from undergrad to grad to my PhD, they don't know. My teachers don't even know how much I look up to them, because if it was not for them, I wouldn't even be taking the career path that I'm taking, And it's so funny, because it's just like, I have so many talents and so much knowledge that could help all of us, that, but when you get snappy and you get hateful and you get petty and spiteful, not only does it hurt me, but it hurts you too. And it's just hard to just witness somebody being that damn stubborn and that damn wicked for no reason. It's just hard to watch, because it's a good amount of us that want to see the company thrive for another 35 years. It's a good group of us that want to see the program get better, to have our department develop into an actual major. And that's actually what I'm going to school for, is for curriculum design, so that I could get a job at my school revamping the program once we get the money to revamp it. But it's like, when people use every bit of their power, every bit of their authority to hurt you for whatever reason, it's ridiculous. And I don't know if this is universe telling me, like, okay, obviously you've overstayed your stay. If these people want to continue to spit in your face, let them drown. And I've never been the type of person to be spiteful. I've never been the type of person to do spells on people. I've never been the type of person to hex anybody, or to send any type of negative energy anybody's way. I've never been that type of person ever. You know what I'm saying? But when people really try to gut you and try to do you dirty and try to put a knife in your back in the middle of a hug, you just have to move different. You just have to move different. You literally have to send love and light to those people. You literally have to protect yourself, because what people don't tell you about spirituality in the dance world is that it is a lot of dark energy in our environment. Even though it's all fun and games, some people are there with evil intentions. Some people have power, and they use their power to hurt other people. They use their power to humble other people. They use their power to punish other people. And it's not okay. And it's really whack, you know? It's really whack, especially when that energy and that attitude is towards somebody who can actually save your ass down further down the line. You start looking around and just be like, this is crazy. This is insane. You know? Because it's just like, to me, like, I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I know what my intentions are, right? But for me to continue to let myself be spit in the face, continue to let myself be disrespected, consider to let myself be, talked to any type of way, I'm not that person anymore. And when people know that you're not the one to try it, they don't try it, They don't try. You know not to look over here. You know not to come near me. You know not to even look my direction saying nothing crazy because you know I'm going to be ready for you. So don't even do it, And when people know that they can't get in your mind, when people know they can't get in your head, they're going to try every low down trick they have up their sleeve, like the wicked snakes that they are, to try to get you to unravel and to get out of character. But you don't let them do that. You get what I'm saying? You have to remember who you are. I have to remember who I am. You know what I'm saying? I have a small cold, and I don't want to be sniffling on this camera the entire time. So I'm about to wrap this up because I swear. But no, literally, as a dancer, you have to train your mind a whole different way. Just like you train your body to do certain things, you have to train your mind the same way, because old heads be hating. I'm just going to say that flat out. Old heads be hating. And if they can't give you an excuse, they'll make something up. And they'll try to make you feel like you're the crazy one. To make it feel like you're the disrespectful one. Make it feel like you're the one out of line, when it's completely the other way around. And, I always ask myself, universe, why me? Why do you give me these messages? Why do you reveal these truths to me? Because, I've never been a confrontational person. I'll just stop talking to you. Just straight. When you start talking crazy to me, and when I can tell that a evil entity has entered and a dark energy has entered the chat, I'm not speaking to you anymore. I'm not giving you any more of my energy. I don't even want you near me. I want you to go away. I'm wall, block, boundaries. A line has been drawn to saying I'm done with you. But until you can learn how to speak to somebody like an adult, speak to somebody with respect, and to address somebody with common sense and logic, I'm not going to have a conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? But I say all that to say this. I love the hell out of my company. Lord knows I do. I love that company with my whole heart. I would fight. I would fight for that company. I would vouch for that company any day, regardless of what anybody in there has done to me, said to me, treated me, made me feel in the past. I'm still gonna go hard for this company and my alma mater till forever, till the day it's not that it's not even an department anymore. I'm always gonna ride for my department. I'm always gonna ride for that department. I'm always gonna ride for my company, regardless, because of that. Because not only because of the person that it made me, but for what it stands for and why it's important, right? And I will dedicate my whole career to that department if it means saving it, and I mean that with my whole heart. I would go to grad school and I come right back to A&T. I'll spend my whole career at A&T. A&T if it means saving that department. That's how passionate I feel about my department and what we're doing and what we create and what we're capable of. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let people's trauma and conditioning and stubbornness and internal conflict make me feel like I'm less than, or make me feel like it's something wrong with me and that I'm problematic, because that's not the case. Truths are hard. Sometimes you might not always like the truth, but at the end of the day, the truth is the truth regardless, whether you want to accept it as that or not, And it's just really interesting to see it play out like this. Like I've had teachers spit in my face before. I've had teachers, well, not literally spit in my face, but I've had teachers make me feel really bad about myself, and made teachers make me feel like I didn't belong, like I didn't have any business dancing, I didn't have any business having a career in that, I didn't have any business trying to train and get better as a dancer. I didn't have any business being in certain environments. I've had teachers make me feel like that in the past, but because I've been through that and I've healed through that, and I know what that feels like, and I know where those type of feelings come from, this time around it doesn't faze me. This time around I can take it with grace. This time around I can laugh at the foolishness. I can laugh at the lack of logic, because that's all it is. Because at the end of the day, it's not me that's being hurt, you know. It's just funny how people would rather cut off their arm to prove a point. It's funny how people would rather break their leg walking over a wet floor sign just to see if they could prove somebody wrong. It's very painful to watch people really break themselves in half to try to spite somebody else, and I hate to see it. I do. I hate to see it. But you know, I know how my karma works. I know how my universe works, and spirit don't never do me like that. Spirit never does me like that. Every time people try to spit on me and try to dim my light and try to make me seem like I'm less than. Spirit always has a funny way of putting me on top every single time. I already know this. I trust spirit enough to know that all these little all these little nitpicks and side comments and acting like I'm invisible, act like I'm not giving my all, act like I haven't been there the longest, you know, it's just a test of ego, because I already know where it comes from. And it's just like, you know, good leaders know when to step forward and when to step back. Good leaders know when to speak up and when to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it can really upset you sometimes, and it can really hurt you sometimes. You have to, you know, one thing that has been keeping me afloat is knowing that this is temporary, and that it's gonna come a time where you're gonna need me, and I'm gonna have the choice to say yes or no. It's gonna come a time where, you know, everybody has their day of reckoning. It's no rest for the wicked. You know, you can try to disguise it as something else. You can try to disguise it or try to justify it as something else. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, universe knows the truth. And that's who I place my trust in. That's who I place all my burdens in. And I already know that it's taken care of. And I already know that it's taken care of. So I don't need people trying to force fear into me, or trying to inject fear into me, or trying to buck up at me, trying to put fear in me, because I'm not that type of person anymore. You can't scare me or try to enforce me or coerce me into doing anything I don't want to do, especially if it's not logical. Especially if it's not logical. Especially if it doesn't make any sense. And it's just like, you know, when you see people twist, and it's like watching a snake be set on fire. You think that, oh, they could have put that poor snake out of, you should put that poor snake out of its misery. But I bet you, as soon as you put fire on that snake, he's gonna cool off and come around and bite your ass, because at the end of the day, it's still a snake. You get what I'm saying? And you always have to remember that when people wrong you, you can forgive them, but you don't have to you don't you don't have to continue to entertain their energy. You don't have to um ignore your pain, because I'm still healing from the foolishness and the fuckery that I had to deal with during my senior project. I am, and I fully, you know, admit that and understand that I am still healing from that, because that situation genuinely hurt me. That hurt my feelings. That hurt me mentally. That hurt me physically, and a lot of trust was lost in that situation. You know. Like I said, that's another video. So um, I guess what I would say is, like, as a dancer, you gotta be strong mentally. Like, you gotta learn those patterns, and once those patterns repeat yourself again, you gotta move differently. Because I don't care what happens, regardless, as long as that's a place for me to go and dance, that's where I'm gonna go dance at. Because I know what type of content I bring. I know what type of light I bring. I know what I offer when I bring to the table, and I'm not gonna let anybody talk me up out of my seat ever, ever. Because the crazy thing is that you're gonna be asking for me before I be asking for you. You know. I hope that the situation will improve. I hope that whatever message or whatever tower needs to happen in order for people to kind of get a grip happens, because, you know, it's so many teachers that I could just wish I could have a conversation with. Like, yeah, like, and it's not even on like, bitter shit, but you really need to let people know how you feel and how they made you feel, because some people could just be thinking like, oh, it's okay for me to talk to people like this, when it's really not. When it's really not. And that's one of the things I'm working on this year is communication. Even if you don't care that you hurt my feelings, just know that you hurt my feelings, and then there's gonna be consequences for it, whether you think so or not, because that's just how spirit works for me. I don't wish that bad things happen to people. I don't wish that karma goes you know punishes or attacks people. I don't wish that on anybody. But when you're dealing with star seeds, when you're dealing with light workers, like, it's just certain things you just don't try. And I don't know what I have to say, what I have to do, how I have to present myself to communicate that clearly. Like, don't don't fuck with me. Don't try it with me. Like, just don't. It's not gonna end well. It's never going to end well. It's never going to end well. So just stop. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see anybody, be inconvenienced or down and out. I don't want to see that for anybody. But when you do things that hurt people, it kind of makes me feel, it's hard to be sympathetic. It's hard to be sympathetic. Like I said, it's like a snake. It's like watching a snake. It's like watching a snake be on fire. You want to put the poor thing out of its misery, but and they is still a snake. So I don't even know if I'm gonna put this video out, because I really don't even know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's some juicy bits in here. Maybe it isn't. But my next video will be about dealing with depression and dance, and how the very thing you love can easily and quickly turn into the very thing that you hate. So I'm still working on trying to make dance related videos, because I don't want to like out the company or like make anybody in my department look bad or look bad. I love my company. My company's great. My company's amazing. I would say and show you a lot more about my company, but I'm not allowed to. But yeah, definitely want to have more conversations like this. Have you ever felt like you were being attacked, or felt like you were being targeted, or felt like you were being mistreated in your dance space? If so, how did you handle it, and what are some coping mechanisms that you use when you feel like you're being handed the short end of the stick, or when you feel like you're being punished for things? I would love to know if anybody has any stories like that, so we can all heal, because I feel like it's so many dancers that have dealt with a lot of traumatic experiences, and we're kind of just taught to just not take things personal, or to not be so dramatic or emotional about things, or just to let things go. But no, it's important, like, as dancers, if we really are passionate and commit to our craft, that when traumatic and hurtful things happen to us, that we need to heal through it, just like any other hurtful traumatic events in our life. So I hope this video helps somebody. I hope that we can continue this conversation in the comments. If anybody has treated you or shorted you in a dance space, or made you feel inferior, or made you feel not wanted in a dance space, how did you deal with it? You chose to leave. You had a conversation with somebody. If you spazzed on somebody, if it took you having a mental breakdown for people to understand that, the way they treat people is just not okay. I want to know. I want to know. But yeah, this is all for, I don't even know what I'm going to call this yet, but I will see you guys in the next one.